So I was thinking, it's been a while since I've done a video on like Marvel characters, and I like talking about some of my favorites, and I have not talked about Armored Spider-Man on the channel yet. Let me tell you something. I am a huge fan of Silver Armored Spider-Man. It is my second favorite Spider-Man look, just behind the classic red and blue. I absolutely love it, and it is a crying shame that we have not gotten a modern Marvel Legends of it yet. We've gotten a trillion different Spider-Man versions, different armors, all that, but not his like Spider-Man animated series black and silver armor. And I hope one day we'll get it, but until then, I have other toys to show because the silver armor has reappeared in the comics, in the cartoons, and just in general toy merchandise. But some of this is original armored Spider-Man figures from the 90s. And one of them is actually one of my favorite childhood Spider-Man figures. Can you tell, given the condition of it? All right, so let's start smallest to biggest. How about that? Let's talk about this one. This is a superhero squad. I think I found this at the flea market, and I saw it, and I was yeah, I had to get it. I don't do a lot of these little superhero squad guys, but in the case of Armored Spidey, I absolutely had to. Honestly, one of my favorite superhero squad figures. He's got like really nice detail on the knuckles, and he is a unique sculpt for Armored Spider-Man. And he's pretty posable too. I mean, kids playing with this could honestly genuinely have him posed and like punching and fighting. Like, he's a really cool, fun little figure. I love the logo on the back. That is very nicely done. Overall, man, this is honestly, not even joking, one of my favorite figures in this assortment, in all of these. I genuinely really love this guy. Next up is the newest one in my collection. They did do like a version that was like in a 2-pack, I think, with another character, and they did one that was like sitting on a motorcycle. Those were like children's lines. But this was the 3¾ inch Marvel Universe turned into Marvel Legends Armored Spider-Man, right at the end of like the Marvel Legends 3¼ inch line. He was single packed, and he's a pretty awesome figure. He's not perfect. He's definitely a little stiff in the torso and arm department because he has no torso articulation. But he was a completely unique sculpt, I'm pretty sure. His legs are really great. Like, his legs can move out decently far, and he's got double knees. I'm always worried about Marvel Universe figures, though, because how tiny those double joints are. But apparently Hasbro is pretty worried, too, because they definitely cut the articulation up top. He only has standard, like, disc hinges at the elbows. Look at that elbow range. That is nothing. That is seriously as far as it bends. But he looks cool. He's Silver Armored Spidey. I think it's like a newer interpretation of it instead of the very, very classic version because he's a little more slender and streamlined. No wrist articulation either. That's a shame. But overall, he's really fun. He's a fun little figure. He's definitely one of my favorites among this group. Not my absolute favorite. Honestly, my absolute favorite's probably the one that I grew up with. But yeah, he's still a cool, fun figure. Next up, this is the classic Spider-Man animated series basic figure line version of Silver Armored Spider-Man. He did have a missile in his arm that I unfortunately do not have. Like a lot of these 90s figures, they had gimmicks and all that. But mine does not have that because I got him at the toy department for like $4. By the way, I don't work at the toy department. I just go there and spend a lot of money. But yeah, he's really cool. I love him. I love the silver logo on the back. He's very stark, silver and black. He's basically a smaller version of the big one. That's why I bought him. Because I really, I love the big one. And I wanted the smaller one. I might end up getting it carded someday. I don't know. I love classic Silver Spider-Man. So I love the toys of him. And, yeah, he's just a nice basic figure. What year is he? Does it say? Oh, yeah, 1994. Ooh, that's older than me. All right. Next up, we have this one. This is our only 6-inch-ish Armored Spider-Man you can get for a Marvel Legends collection. I think this was Spider-Man Classics. I want to say Spider-Man Classics, but I'm not entirely sure. He's not super posable. He's kind of totally crippled in this arm. They definitely got inspired by the original vintage toy for basically having this arm just fire a missile. But this arm's actually super posable. He's got all the articulation you'd really need out of that one. I mean, his waist is just a swivel, and it always is kind of permanently posed in this awkward sort of hunched position. He only has swivels at the legs and then a hinge at the knee. That's kind of sucky. I mean, he doesn't look too bad. I did paint his eyes. I did repaint his eyes because I think they're just all black before, and I needed them to be the classic black and silver because that's what I grew up with, because that's what I needed. But yeah, I'm happy I finally got this guy. I think I also got him at the toy department cheap. But yeah, he's a cool, fun figure. Odd that the armor doesn't continue on the shoulder like that, but it does right there. Odd. It just looks very asymmetrical and weird. It's a very weird figure, and it doesn't have the same kind of logo on the back. It's a cool one though, but it's basically one where I feel like I'm just settling, and I'm just waiting for my dream armored Spider-Man to happen. This one then is the most interesting. This is another toy department find. This is from that the Marvel Shapeshifters line. He shapeshifts. He is... I think they also did make a silver and black repaint, but I have the silver and blue one because I had to change it up a little bit, right? Or maybe, I don't know. I know I've seen a silver and blue version of this figure as well. No, I saw silver and blue of him, I think. It was silver and blue of him. Maybe there's one of him. I don't know. They repaint everything, right? I find this figure very funny. He's got vac metal on the shoulder pads and on his feet. His feet are vac metal, but most of the rest of him is painted silver. Also, his torso, I think, is vac metal, but it's not as shiny. So his articulation's pretty crap. You can move his arms just a little bit, but you start seeing some exposure of his alt mode. Yeah, he's a weird one. Let me try to transform him. Spoiler alert, he transforms into basically nothing. Like, this is not going to be right, because his transformation is just nonsense anyway. I'm trying to remember how it goes. I think, yeah, you get that, and then this is honestly a freak of nature. I don't know what they were thinking with this toy line. I guess they just thought, oh yeah, we can just make anything and kids are gonna buy it, right? Yeah, no, that's not how it goes. I'm sorry. Like, what the heck? He's like, I don't even know what's going on half the time. I think these become like the back of, and basically, spoiler alert, he transforms into some kind of weird ass spider thing. That's basically what he transforms into. Yeah, those become his other legs. This toy line is notorious for that Punisher figure that has the weapon in that very appropriate place. That's what this toy line's most notorious for. I think I'm getting it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much... He doesn't really have a head either for his spider mode. It's basically, I think it's basically just that. Yeah, there we go. That's apparently a spider, everybody. I think that's it. Maybe you keep this flipped down. I think that looks even worse. So yeah, that's horrific. That's absolutely horrific. I don't know what they were thinking. Next up, this is my childhood Spidey. This is my boy. This is my big figure. He's got scuffs. He's got, you know, dings and dongs and all that. His pain ain't all there. But this is my childhood one. I do have his shield. But it's in storage, and I didn't feel like digging it out. Basically, it's just a silver armored shield thing that's a circle. It's basically all it is. But I loved this figure because of how big and chunky he was. And also, he was silver. He was a silver, big, chunky Spider-Man. And that's why he was one of my favorites growing up. I'm so happy I still have him after all these years, because he really means a lot to me. He was definitely one of my favorites, one of my absolute favorites. And man, these are the kind of toys that you can't let go. Out of all of these Spider-Man figures, this is, all the armored ones, this is the last one I could get rid of, because number one, I mean, look at the condition, it's not worth much. But it's worth a lot to me, because he's my boy. We went a lot of places together. I think I took him to school once too, maybe? I don't know. And that seems like something I would have done with him, because he was definitely one of my faves. I didn't even know the lore of Silver Spider-Man. I'm just like, ooh, Silver Spider-Man. This one, though, this is what modern kids have to deal with. It's a repaint of a normal Spidey. I think I found this at the thrift store, and I decided, why not? I'll get it. It's basically just a silver Spider-Man that is a 12-inch figure that can basically do nothing besides look stiff and awkward. They didn't even finish painting the black on his back per usual because these figures are that cheap. Seriously, they didn't. It does, oddly enough, look more like this one, though, because it's all silver. It does look more like that. Yeah, it's just a repaint of the basic 12-inch Spidey. I remember where I work. We got tons of that basic 12-inch Spidey one Christmas, and it took years to sell through them all, but we did. Yeah, he's, honestly, the reason I got it is because that silver paint's so nice on this figure, though. It doesn't look the greatest. Oddly enough, he has boot articulation. Honestly, why? He should have had a wrist articulation. But it's something. Honestly, though, that silver is really pretty. These figures are pretty cool. Not all of them are great. Like the one I'm holding right now, he's far from great, but he's not that bad. This is a monstrosity, but I love having it. And then we just have a couple smaller ones that are just kind of cool and cute. So yeah, there we go. There's my Armored Spider-Man figures. I love Armored Spidey. Again, this is a cry to Hasbro. Make a Marvel Legends Armored Spider-Man. We need it. I know it's new tooling. I know it's going to be a new mold, but you have to do it. Just base it off of this. Base it off of the classic 90s one. Don't do anything weird, because Hasbro's going full-on 90s with Marvel Legends comic stuff right now. And I hope they keep that rolling, and I hope we get Armored Spidey, because we need that. Please, though, don't bring this stuff back. I'm not interested. I don't think I want another Marvel Shapeshifter anytime soon, because that thing is scary. I'm surprised I remembered how to do it, though, given how abstract it is. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite Spider-Man figures were growing up, because for me, definitely, he was one of my favorites, without a doubt. Alrighty, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.